Hey everybody, welcome to Hanging with Uncle. I'm Gene, and let's get into it. So, a lot of times today I watch, TV and or just kind of people watch when I go someplace and not purposely eavesdrop on a conversation, but you just kind of help but can't overhear what's being said. And it kind of lets you know a lot about the level of the importance of the level of education that you get. Not only that, but what you are being taught. So let's just start number one with how to have a proper discussion. If you just start a discussion, let's just say based on the history of the United States and how it got started, we have to come together on a certain set of facts that we can both agree upon in order to have, a rational and amicable discussion. So, for an example, let's just say that slavery was interwoven into the fabric of the founding of this country. And there's a very good evidence to show that it was, because the founding fathers all owned slaves, and the people that signed the Declaration all owned slaves. And it was not against the law to have that. So let's just start from the very beginning. If we can't begin with that, then I cannot have a conversation with you, because those facts are undeniable. I mean, just look at Thomas Jefferson and the lineage he left behind from all the affairs he had with the slaves that he owned. So, let's just get real and say what it was. This country was built on the labor of slavery, especially in the South. The White House was built by slaves. So, when I hear, this is something that I will stipulate too, is that I don't have to get mad at the Confederate flag because they believed in slavery when the flag of the United States had them as well. The difference between the two is that the United States wanted to abolish slavery and the southern states fought to keep it as a right, and we had a civil war. Period. That's how it happened. So when you start to say that the Civil War was not fought over slavery, I can't talk with you. You already are starting on a false pretense of a well-known fact, and there's way too much documented evidence to prove it, which leads me to another point of willful ignorance. All right, and I will use again the example of the 2020 election. It was not stolen. Joe Biden won that election and became president on a free and fair election. It was not stolen. Over 60 lawsuits went to federal court making accusations of unethical practices or something, whatever you want to call it, but came in with zero proof, and all cases were dismissed. Now that's where you prove you have evidence that an election was stolen. And in over 60 cases, you could not prove that. That tells me that the election was a free and fair election and that you're just a crybaby and you lost. Because you cannot turn to the airwaves and expect public opinion to say the election was stolen and we can just ignore the facts. And that's why I can't have a conversation with somebody that refuses to acknowledge the facts. And you can always tell, if you try to have that conversation, how to recognize when you should just walk away. And that's the old whataboutism. Because that is just a ploy to deflect and get you off topic. Well, what about when so-and-so did this? Well, that's not what this is about. Let's finish having this conversation about these set of facts surrounding this person or this group. And then when we're done with that, we can talk about whatever's on your mind. We can't deflect away from the facts the way they are just because we don't like the fact that they're true and go against the person or belief system or group that you like. That's not how facts work. So there's a couple of links in the description box below. Number one, talking about what willful ignorance is. And those are the people that continue to believe that the election was stolen after there's no proof that it was in a court of law. You can't have a conversation with anybody that has that kind of mindset on anything that is tangible unless you believe the same nonsense, because the facts do not support that. And that's just an example. But just remember, don't let somebody deflect you and turn away from the issue at hand. Look straight on and finish, or walk away. You're only going to make yourself insane trying to convince a person that will not believe the facts right in front of them. Those are my thoughts. I'd love to know what you think. Please leave them in the comment section below. As always, remember, treat each other the way you want to be treated. Be kind to one another. And don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, and notification bell so you don't miss when new content comes out. So, I'm Gene. Thank you for hanging with Uncle, and I'll see you next time. Bye.